I'm Alex in my mid-20s, and I live in a medium-sized city where I work as a graphic designer at a small marketing firm. I've been with my girlfriend, Sam, for about a year and a half. We met through mutual friends at a board game night, and we clicked instantly. Sam's 26, an artist who paints these incredible landscapes, and she's got this sharp wit that keeps me laughing. We love watching sci-fi flicks, hiking local trails, and hitting up food trucks on weekends. Our relationship's been solid. Nothing perfect, but we talk through issues, and I've always felt like we were on the same page. Before me, Sam was with a guy named Josh for a few years. They broke up a while before we started dating, and Sam was open about it early on. She said Josh ended things, but it wasn't a huge fight or anything. They just grew apart. They stayed in touch as friends, texting occasionally about random stuff like music or memes. Sam told me she still cared about him as a person, but was done romantically. I respected her honesty and never felt weird about Josh. He wasn't part of our lives, and Sam never made me think I had to compete with her past. Everything changed a few months ago. Sam was at her part-time coffee shop job when she got a call that Josh had died suddenly. She called me, crying so hard I could barely understand her. I left work early and drove to her apartment. When I got there, she was curled up on her couch, sobbing, her face red and puffy. I sat with her, held her, and let her cry until she was too exhausted to keep going. I made her chamomile tea, tucked a blanket around her, and stayed until she fell asleep. For the next few days, she was like a ghost. She barely left her bed, skipped meals, and only talked to me and her best friend, Rachel. It was tough to watch, but I wanted to be there for her, no matter how much it hurt to see her in pain. When Josh's funeral was set, Sam asked me to come with her. I didn't hesitate. I said yes. I knew Josh had been a big part of her life, and I wanted to support her, even if it felt odd to attend her ex's funeral. The service was in a small church, packed with Josh's family and friends. Sam cried the whole time, gripping my hand so tight it hurt. I stood by her, trying to be a rock, even though I felt out of place. After, she hugged me outside and said, "Thank you for being here. It means so much." I told her I'd always show up for her, no matter what. Post-funeral, Sam pulled away. She'd spend hours alone, scrolling through old photos of her and Josh, laughing at music festivals, hiking, or just hanging out. She'd play their favorite songs on repeat, stuff like indie rock bands I didn't know. I'd text to check in, and she'd reply with short messages like, "I'm fine," or "Need some time." I tried to balance giving her space with being there. I'd drop off her favorite pho from the Vietnamese place nearby, watch silly rom-coms to cheer her up, or just sit quietly if she wasn't up for talking. It was hard seeing her so distant, but I figured grief takes time, and I wanted to be patient. Little by little, Sam started to bounce back. She began smiling again, meeting up with friends, and even suggested we plan a weekend getaway to a cabin by the lake. We went on a few dates, grabbing tacos, catching a new sci-fi movie, and it felt like old times. I was relieved, thinking we'd gotten through the roughest part and could focus on us again. Then, about a week ago, I noticed something weird. It was warm out, but Sam was wearing a long-sleeved shirt, which wasn't her style. She's usually in t-shirts or tank tops. When she reached for her water bottle, I saw a medical wrap around her forearm. I asked, "Hey, you hurt your arm? What's with the wrap?" She looked nervous, fidgeted with her sleeve, and said, "I got a new tattoo." I was intrigued. Sam's got 4 other tattoos, each with a story. There's a daisy on her ankle for her grandma, a constellation on her shoulder because she loves stargazing, a quote on her ribcage about strength, and a tiny cat on her wrist for her childhood pet, Muffin. I said, "Cool, let's see it. What did you get?" She paused, then slowly peeled back the wrap. It was Josh's name in bold black script, right on the inside of her forearm. The letters were big, clear like a permanent shout. I froze. My chest tightened, and I felt this rush of anger, sadness, and something like betrayal. I didn't say anything. I couldn't find words. Sam gave a small smile, said, "It's for him," and covered it back up like it was no big deal. That night, I barely slept. I kept picturing that tattoo, Josh's name on her skin forever. I understood grieving someone you lost. I got wanting to honor their memory. But tattooing an ex's name while you're with someone else? That hit me hard. It wasn't just a photo or a song. It was permanent, personal, and right there every time she looked at her arm. I started questioning everything. Was Sam really over Josh? Was I just filling a void because he was gone? Did she love him more than me? And now I'd have to live with that reminder every day? I didn't want to tell Sam what she could do with her body. That's her choice. But this felt like a line had been crossed. I couldn't stop thinking I was competing with a ghost, someone she might still want if he were alive. It messed with my head, making me wonder if our relationship was what I thought it was. I posted online, asking if I'd be the jerk for breaking up with her over the tattoo, trying to figure out if I was blowing this out of proportion or if it was as serious as it felt. Relevant comments. Commenter, anonymous commenter. Should you really be jealous of dead guy? OP's response. That's kind of reductive, in my opinion. Could she go around saying, he was the love of my life. I wish I could be with him, and it'd be okay because he's dead, and I shouldn't be jealous of a dead guy. I don't think that's fair. Commenter, anonymous commenter. What are you scared this tattoo is going to lead to? She literally can't do anything with the guy anymore. Opie's response, yeah, that's the problem. She can't, but I'm worried she'd want to. That's what bothers me. Commenter, anonymous commenter. So she can create a whole altar, name your kid after him, Professor Love, and it's all cool, just because he's dead? Opie's response, you really think people like it when their significant others like, oh, I wish I was with my dead partner, but since they are gone, you'll do, though I prefer my dead partner. I'm not going to be with someone who wishes they could be with someone else. Commenter, anonymous commenter. If she wanted him more than you, she would have still been with him when he was alive, not with you. Opie's response, that's not true. He broke up with her. She had no say in the relationship ending. Commenter, anonymous commenter. He's no threat to you, he's dead. Opie's response, this is hilarious to me. He's not a threat because the only obstacle is death. Like, he'd be a threat, but the veil of death stops him from being so. Commenter, anonymous commenter. You're overreacting. People grieve in different ways. It's just a tattoo. Opie's response, I get that people grieve differently, but I don't think most people would be okay with their partner getting a tattoo of an ex's name, living or dead. Commenter, anonymous commenter. Does Sam have other tattoos? Is this something she does often? Opie's response, she has 4 other tattoos, but none of them are names. This is the first time she's gotten someone's name. Commenter, anonymous commenter. Was the breakup mutual? Did she leave him, or did he leave her? Opie's response, he broke up with her. Years later, she got with me. He passed away, and she got the tattoo while with me. Update, 8 days later, May 21st, 2025. Hey everyone, it's Alex again. I posted last week about Sam's tattoo, and after thinking it over and reading your comments, I made a tough call. I broke up with Sam. I spent a week going back and forth. I tried to see if I could get past the tattoo, but every time I thought about it, it hurt all over again. I talked to 2 close friends about it. One said the tattoo was a deal breaker, like a sign Sam wasn't fully committed. The other said it was just her way of grieving, and I should let it go. The online comments were split too. Some said I was making a big deal out of nothing. Others got why it felt like a betrayal. I kept coming back to the same thought. The tattoo wasn't just about grief. It felt like a statement that Josh was still a bigger part of her heart than I was. I asked Sam to meet me at her apartment to talk. She could tell I was serious and said, "What's going on? You okay?" I took a deep breath and said, "It's about the tattoo. It's a problem for me." She looked shocked, like she didn't think it'd be an issue. I said, "You got your ex's name tattooed on your arm forever. That's not something you do when you're with someone else. It makes me feel like I'm not enough, like you'd rather be with him." Sam got upset and tried to explain. She said, "It's not like that. It's just a way to process my grief, to keep Josh's memory alive. It doesn't mean I don't love you." She apologized for not thinking about how it'd affect me and said she'd get it removed if that's what I wanted. She was almost pleading, saying she'd book the appointment right away. I told her, if you remove it, do it for yourself, not me. It won't fix this. The tattoo's already there, and it shows me you're not over Josh. I can't stay with someone who might still want their ex. She insisted she was over him, that it was just a tribute. But I said, what you did says more than what you're saying now. That tattoo feels like your heart's somewhere else. It was rough. Sam started crying, and I felt like a jerk, but I also felt sure. I said, I care about you, but I can't be in a relationship where I'm wondering if I'm second choice. We talked a bit more, but there wasn't much left to say. I grabbed my stuff, a hoodie, some books, and left. Walking out her door was one of the hardest things I've done. Since then, I've been feeling a strange mix of relief and sadness. Breaking up hurt, but it's like I can breathe again. I'm exhausted, but I'm calm, and I know I made the right choice for me. I don't hate Sam. I hope she finds a way to heal and move forward. But I need to be with someone who's fully with me. No doubts, no ghosts. For now, I'm focusing on work, hanging with friends, and taking things one day at a time.